Hey everyone, my name is Brittany and we're so excited you're joining us today. Today we're talking about the story of Naboth's vineyard. A wicked king named Ahab wanted something that wasn't his. The king had everything he could ever want, but it was never enough. He continually wanted more and more, and that kept him from being the king that he was supposed to be. Sometimes we're just like Ahab. We let wanting stuff, especially other people's stuff, distract us from what is most important and keep us from who we are supposed to be. It really all comes down to a trust issue. When we don't have what we want, when we want it, will we still trust Jesus? And this is what we're talking about today, trusting Jesus. And that's why we're saying every day, I can trust Jesus. We're gonna start things off together by singing a song, so go ahead, stand up, and sing this out with us as loud as you can.
Everybody, everywhere, all around the world. This ain't up right now because I got something to say and it will be heard. I made up my mind, not afraid to show. That's right, gonna leave the past behind, gonna let the whole world know I am who God says I am. Let me tell you now, I am who God says I am. I am forgiven, I am a winner, I have been chosen. Jesus, I am yours. Jesus, I am yours. Forever. Jesus, I am yours. Forever. I am. Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am yours. I am who God says I am. I am who God says I am. Let's go. I am who God says I am. 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 I am forgiven. I am a winner. I have been chosen. Jesus, I am yours. Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am who God says I am. 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 You know I am who God says I am. I am who God says I am.
You guys sounded amazing. Thank you so much for singing along with us. And now we're gonna take some time to watch a Bible story together. And like I said earlier, today's story is about Naboth's vineyard, so let's check it out.
It's time for a Bible story. This story is about a guy named Naboth.
Oh, bless you.
What? No, I didn't sneeze. I said Naboth.
Allergies getting you, huh? You need a Kleenex, bud?
No, I'm not sneezing. I'm saying his name, Naboth.
Oh, gotcha. Continue.
Naboth lived a long time ago in the land of Israel. He was a godly man that lived a nice, quiet life on some land.
Aw, he seems nice. I like this little Nabler's guy.
You mean Naboth?
Yeah, that's what I said. Mayberf.
I think you're saying it wrong. His name was Naboth.
Bless you.
Never mind. Naboth lived on a piece of land that was right by the king's palace.
Nice. That's a pretty sweet setup. Good location, property value going through the roof. He's living the dream.
Well, there is a catch. The king that lived in the palace was named Ahab, and he was not a great dude. And the queen wasn't any better. Her name was Jezebel. Together, they were a pretty dastardly duo.
Uh-oh, I got a bad feeling about this. Okay, so what's the deal? They were just like bad neighbors or something? Always playing loud music, leaving their trash all over the place?
Not quite. You see, Naboth had a bit of a green thumb.
Oh, what? Gross. What's wrong with his hand? That's nasty.
No. That's just a phrase that means he was a gardener, that he liked working with plants, not like he actually had a green thumb.
Oh, okay, good. 'Cause that'd be weird.
Naboth had a beautiful vineyard on his land. It was full of lush plants, and Naboth worked really hard to make it very fruitful. His vineyard was so beautiful that it caught the eye of someone very powerful.
Let me guess. The Hulk.
What? No.
Superman?
Wrong again.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
No, it was King Ahab. He saw Naboth's vineyard from his palace and wanted to have it for himself. So he asked Naboth if he could buy it. But Naboth said no.
Huh, how come?
That land was given to Naboth as an inheritance, and God told him never to sell it. So he thanked the king and declined his offer.
Okay, no big deal. Just gave him the old, "it's not for sale."
Well, it shouldn't have been a big deal, but it was to King Ahab. He was furious that Naboth didn't give him what he wanted, so he went away pouting and all upset.
Wait, like he threw a fit? Like a little baby?
Pretty much, yeah.
Man, that guy's got a screw loose or something. Let me get this straight. He's a king.
Yep.
And he lives in a totally awesome palace, but he's throwing a temper tantrum because he didn't get something? Oh, that sounds like little King Baby needs a whittle nappy time.
You're not wrong. And when Queen Jezebel heard that Naboth wouldn't sell his vineyard to the king, she got super mad too.
Seriously? What a couple lame-o babies.
Totally. But it gets even worse. Queen Jezebel was so angry about it that she did something really awful. She had Naboth killed so her and King Ahab could steal the vineyard for themselves.
No, Naboth, are you for real?
Unfortunately, yes. King Ahab and Queen Jezebel let their jealousy consume them, and it eventually led to their own destruction. God had such better plans for them, but because they let their hearts be hardened and gave in to sin, it caused their entire family to be wiped out.
Man, that is crazy. Okay, do me a favor. Remind me if I ever see a vineyard that I really like, but I can't have it, like not to get super jealous and like kill the people that have it to steal it from them, because that is not going to end well for me at all.
Sure thing. If that ever happens for some weird reason, I'll totally remind you.
Thanks, man. You're the best.
The end.
King Ahab wanted Naboth's vineyard so badly that when Naboth wouldn't give it to him, he started pouting like a little baby. He even refused to eat. Have you ever wanted something so badly that when you didn't get it, you threw a fit like King Ahab? And if so, what was it? I would encourage you to pause the video right here and take a couple minutes to talk about that. And then once you're done talking about it, unpause and continue the video. Our friend, Pastor Andrew, is going to be talking to us a little bit more about our story right now, so let's check it out.
Have you ever had something and wanted more? Maybe you had a bowl of ice cream and you decide that you need a second bowl of ice cream. Yeah, that's me like every time I ever eat dessert. And sometimes wanting more is okay. But what about wanting something that somebody else already has? Let's be honest. Have you ever seen another kid at school with something new and you wish that you had that thing instead of them? Maybe you've been wanting a new pair of shoes and one of your friends walks into class with that exact pair of shoes that you've had your eyes on. If we're not careful, we can allow this nasty attitude of jealousy to come in. This attitude that wishes that you had those shoes instead of them. And does this feeling ever make us happy? No. It makes us upset, doesn't it? Maybe it even makes you feel a little bit sick on the inside. Here's the big problem with this. You and I are on a mission, and allowing that jealousy in can mess us up on our mission. Our mission is to first love Jesus and to really know him. Not just know about him, but to be able to know him and spend time with him like you would with a friend. The second part of our mission is to share the good news of Jesus with other people, to show Jesus to others and let them know that he came to rescue them also. Now let's say that I'm going out on a mission. I'm going on a big journey. There would be a few things that I would want to make sure that I take along with me. Like if I was going on a camping trip, I would want to be sure to have the right supplies.
A travel backpack, a sleeping bag, a water canteen to fill up on the go, a hiking stick.
Okay, so I've got my stuff, got what I need for this journey, but I've got to be careful to not add extra supplies. You know, sometimes we want to take extra things with us, but more is not always better. Extra things can actually distract us and keep us from getting where we want to be. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
A globe to map out your destination, a tiny backpack for style, a trophy from the 3rd grade, just in case you need to brag, a tennis racket, a battle axe, a power drill, a makeshift helmet to protect against bears,
Okay, now this is getting ridiculous.
the letter H, a chair,
Okay guys, I think we're done now. So all of that stuff would obviously slow me down on my journey. So now let's get back to our Bible story. Ahab the king had everything, but to him, he didn't have enough. He wanted more and more and more, to the point where he was sick and pouting like a little baby. He was being held back on his journey. As the king, he was supposed to shine the image of God to the people he ruled over, to show his people the true king, God. But that definitely didn't happen. He got super sidetracked on his mission, and he was super distracted by wanting what Naboth had. He totally did not complete his mission. And sometimes we can be just like Ahab. We let wanting stuff, especially other people's stuff, distract us and keep us from gaining ground on our mission. So this is where we've got to be careful. Because when we start to think that if we just had his strength or her looks, his grades, her popularity, it's like we're carrying a ton of extra stuff with us on our journey. Not only will those things weigh us down, but they'll distract us and keep us from getting where we want to go. Not only can wanting what others have make you feel sick, it can actually lead you to do some sick things. For Ahab, this eventually led to Naboth being killed. Talk about sick. Often for us, this leads to other sick things, like stealing, disliking others for what they have, being jealous, talking bad about others, making up stories about other people. And all of those are pretty sick, aren't they? So what do? How do we stop wanting what others have? Well, Paul in the Bible said that he learned the secret of being content. Paul, who was writing the book of Philippians in a prison, had everything taken away from him. But still he said that he was doing just fine. How? He knew what he had. He knew that he had Jesus and that he was on a mission. Paul didn't have much stuff, but he did have the most valuable thing ever, the most costly thing ever. He had Jesus. He had the right to be a child of God through what Jesus has done. How expensive is that? It cost Jesus his own life. And Paul knew that he was on a mission now, and he was living his life to complete his mission. He wasn't living his life just to get more and more stuff to be distracted by that. He was not going to let wanting stuff keep him from getting more of Jesus and sharing the good news with others. If you've been wanting what others have, and it's been making you feel sick, or even do some kind of gross things, I want you to think about Jesus. He's a king, not a king like Ahab. Jesus is the true king, and he had everything in his kingdom, but he gave it all up to be a person like you and I, to die for us so that we could be with God and share in his kingdom forever. If we really see what Jesus has done for us, and we remind ourselves that we have the most valuable thing ever in Jesus, then how could we want what others have? Really, when it comes down to it, it's a trust issue. We've got to decide if we're going to trust Jesus or not. Remember, every day, I can trust Jesus.
It all comes down to trust. When we don't get what we want, when we want it, will we still trust Jesus? Or will we be like King Ahab and get so focused on other people's stuff that it makes us sick? What kind of stuff makes you act a little like King Ahab? Is it your friends' games, their clothes, their toys, their shoes, their house? Or is it something else entirely? I would encourage you to talk about this with your parent or small group leader. And then take some time and talk about how we can do what the Apostle Paul talked about in Philippians and turn our focus towards Jesus and put our trust in Him. Remember what Pastor Andrew said, if we really see what we have in Jesus and remind ourselves that we have the most valuable thing ever, how could we want what others have? We already have everything in Jesus, and every day we can trust Jesus. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.